Welcome to God, Freedom, and Bitcoin. This is a Sunday night version of God, Freedom, and Bitcoin. I'm Janet Gatewood here at the Bitcoin Ben Crypto Club, here with my husband, Todd Gatewood.
On a surprising Sunday night, guys. We just decided to come in and shoot a show for you.
Well, there's a lot going on. And also, I actually slept last night. I got a full night of sleep after 2 crazy weeks. And so I have a lot of energy. And what's funny is we're sitting here getting ready to do this show. And I looked over and Todd's eyes are closed. And I said, honey, I don't think we can do this tonight. And he said, I'm just resting my eyes. And I'm like, that's what my dad used to say. He'd close his eyes and say, I'm just resting my eyes. So are your eyes rested?
Yeah, that's what every old man says. I'm just resting my eyes, because she does my engineering for this show. So while she's typing it up, getting it ready, doing the subtitles and all that jazz like that, guess who's sitting here resting his eyes? Me.
And the chat is open. So if anybody's watching and has questions, we are here at the Bitcoin Ben Crypto Club Nashville. And the clubs are here for education, Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, but they're also here for life, for social, for community, e-spaces, that type of thing. And so we're going to share a little bit about, we had an interesting day today. So it's Sunday and I normally would want to go to church, but honestly, I wanted to sleep in. I was so tired. It's the day of rest, right? And so we had to do an open house for one of my properties. It is the Broad Rest Residences downtown. We had a multi-open house and I had my bodyguard chauffeur with me. Thank you, honey.
Well, it was actually Bring Your Spouse to Work Day. And I got to participate in that and was moving people back and forth between floors at this huge high-rise downtown Nashville. So it was fun. We had a good time, had some great interactions with different people. And hopefully we'll be getting a sale from that in the near future.
Well, and maybe a club member. So one of the agents, his unit right next to the one I have listed was for sale. And he was wonderful. He's 21 years old and he's a realtor. Like if I could have done real estate at 21, I mean, because they didn't have Bitcoin then, or I'd just do that. But he's going to have these networks and connections. But the other thing that's so interesting is he was at Belmont, where I'm a Belmont graduate, but he didn't finish his degree. He actually just went ahead and jumped into business. And that's what a lot of young people are doing, because the loans are, the cost of school is excessive. People are burdened with that. And we know that the trades are where you're going to have more income in the future. And so it's really neat to see young people jumping into trades and working and having that work ethic. He seemed more like he was 25. So he was impressive.
Oh, he's a well-grounded young man. And we were, we talked about Bitcoin the whole time with him and said, hey, you at 21 years old, you might want to start dollar cost averaging into it a little bit, just to have a good future. But he had his head screwed on straight. Very, very smart kid. And I think a lot of these young men and women now are looking at different ways to get into business without having to go to school. I'm not saying that college is not adequate or needs to be done, but there's some things where you could just be an entrepreneur and really have a successful career.
Yeah. Can you imagine being 21 and hearing about Bitcoin? Like, we have people all the time that say it's too late. It's already so much. I'm like, are you kidding? This is scarce. It is going to be worth millions and millions and millions and millions per coin over time. And if you're 21, you have time to stack sats, hold it, not touch it, and watch that grow. And it's going to be unbelievable. I mean, I think that conservative estimate is in 21 years, it'll be 13 million a coin. Well, gosh, if it's half of that, that's amazing. If it's a fourth of that, that's amazing. So one of the things that's neat when you find someone that doesn't know a whole lot about it, to try to start educating them, open their eyes. I mean, they have to do their own research. We're not financial investors or advisors.
We're investors, but not advisors.
But when we saw what it was, we did a 180. So if you're listening to this and you're thinking about Bitcoin, you're not sure about it, or it's scaring you because right now the price is $80,711. We're going to talk about that in a second. But right now that price is there. Well, honestly, Steve Blanco here in our club, he said, yeah, might go back down to 80, might go below. And that's when it was over 100,000. So we're going to talk to that. But it was really neat to talk to this young man, see him taking his life and working hard, and be able to kind of share some things that we had learned. And so that was great. So it wasn't a busy open house. I didn't expect it. It was multi-unit, but that was great. And I really appreciate you, Todd, coming with me today.
Yeah, it's always fun. It really is, because when I learn a lot from Janet, being in the real estate market for 17, 18 years now. It's funny because I have a lot of people that ask my opinions, like, guys, I'm really not a trained professional here. I don't have a license or anything like that. I said, you probably don't want to take my advice, but they keep coming back for more. So I try to help them where I can and not overstep my bounds because I actually have the professional in front of me. So.
Well, my clients now, they'll go, where's Todd? We want to hear what Todd has to say. And I'm thinking, who do you think trained him? I've been in real estate 18 years and they want my husband there. so you know what, that says a lot.
Oh, it's fun. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. And it's just, I enjoy it. And you have to enjoy people too, which we do. Both of us do. So you guys might not know this, but we're extroverted. I mean, nothing about us screams introverted or anything. So we enjoy it.
Yeah. So we left there. We left the Broadwest Residences, which is over the Conrad, which is a Hilton property, Conrad Hilton, and Hall's Chop House is there. So it's a fabulous property. I like it even better than the Four Seasons. So that was really beautiful to get to spend our afternoon there and showing that. So we decided to go have dinner. So it's been a really rough 2 weeks for me. I've had 14-hour days for 2 weeks. I have been exhausted beyond exhausted. And I got rest last night, so I'm energetic. And so we decided to go have a date. And we went to dinner at Bricktops over there on West End here in Nashville. And as we were walking in, there was a street person because there are homeless people everywhere. And this gentleman was like, I'm hungry. I'm a vet. I'm this, I'm that. And I'm always hesitant because if you open your purse or anything, something could happen. You don't know if they're doing drugs. I like to support the rescue mission downtown because they clothe, they feed, they house, and they help people get jobs or if they need mental health issues. But you and I walked in the restaurant and I couldn't sit there and think we're going to have this nice dinner. There's a hungry man outside. Like that was just tearing me up. So what did we do?
We just ended up buying, purchasing a burger and some fries and stuff like that. And the funny part about it was the guy that we were going to give it to, we thought his name was Harold, but it wasn't. And we ended up giving it to the wrong guy anyway, which it's sad, but someone got it and I hope it's useful for them. But it's just like one of them stories. It never works out like you intend it to.
Yeah. So we're in there and I told the hostess, I'm like, do you know the guy that sits out there? I said, is he legit? Is he really hungry? Is he on drugs? She goes, oh, Harold. No, he's hungry. And I said, okay. So we ordered Harold the burger and she said, we'll fix it the way he likes it. And she brought it to us. She said, we put some cookies in there for Harold. I'm like, that's awesome. So we're taking care of Harold. And we walk outside and the guy we think is Harold, he's no longer over here. He's walking past. And I was like, are you Harold? He's like, no, Harold's over there. So there's a totally different guy sitting on the bench and that's Harold, but this guy had already left that we were trying to feed. So I'm like, okay, we'll feed Harold because the burger's made Harold's way. So I'm like, and then there's a third one walking up. And so we gave Harold this burger and he's sitting there with his smartphone. So I'm like, that's pretty sweet. Do you sit outside of Bricktops and get nice food? They know how you like it. You're on your smartphone. I mean, who knows? But we were trying to do, we're trying to help a hungry guy tonight. We helped but I'm sure the other guy was hungry. And I thought next time we need to bring a bag of burgers. But I mean, the way that speaks to, and you might want to speak to this, Todd, is the situation and why people are even in this situation.
Well, people are in this situation just because of where our economy's at and has been for a while. And, it's the fiat, as Steve says many times on our classes and stuff, and even our podcast, it's the fiat standard. And, bad money creates bad situations throughout our cities, our countries, the world for that matter. And that's why we're in this space talking about Bitcoin and cryptos and stuff, freedom money. It's not just a slogan. It's a true statement. And we really are having some issues in this world because we're dealing with bad money.
Yeah. I mean, they want to keep us in debt. They tax us to death. Why is Janet working 14-hour days? Well, I have 2 jobs, the club and real estate right now. That's part of it. But it's because it takes a lot right now to cover our bills with taxes, with everything. And that's what's crushing our country. So we were sitting there thinking that could be us on the street. We haven't been on the street in that situation, but some people are like one paycheck away from sitting on that bench like Harold. And that's why we're here. Like Bitcoin, we want to educate people on what this is and how this can make a difference in their life. Because if you could say every time you get paid a little bit and don't touch it, imagine that wealth growing.
Oh, it's huge. It's just stacking sats, you could use the fold card and stuff. And do that, your everyday purchases. If you're paying your house payment, if you're paying your utilities, buying groceries, just anything, the fold card allows you to purchase Bitcoin with every purchase you make, you might be enriching yourself through spending, believe it or not. Ironic, but true.
Yeah, but that's what you told that young man today about that. And if you're watching right now and you can see across the bottom of the screen, Bitcoin Ben. Okay, I just want to say this. There's only one person I think that's getting more done than President Donald Trump, and that would be Bitcoin Ben Simchi. That man does not sleep. He does not stop. We've got 3 clubs. We've got 3 at least opening in the next 2.5 months in Las Vegas, St. Louis, and Dallas. He's bought not 1, not 2, but 3 properties in El Salvador to do resorts. If you look down across the bottom, look at this situation, this thing he's got started, which is amazing. Bitcoin and crypto loans and no KYC buys. Call this number and you're going to see under, tell them Nashville sent you. You have to join one of the 3 clubs. And we're trying to help people have a chance at this currency. At this, is not called it a currency, but Bitcoin's at 80,008. It is the time to buy, in our opinion. Very excited. So we're going to talk about what happened on Friday at the summit. Get back, Todd.
Yeah, Ben is actually burning up the roads. He's got him a new camper, 30-foot camper. And he is out there. I think he was out in California. And so he is, going back and forth across this country to open clubs, spread the word, and let people know that we're here to help. And those loans are going to be huge for a lot of people, especially someone who's wanting to get into Bitcoin, but doesn't know how quite to do it or doesn't have the assets. There's a simple process that you have to go through. And, you have to, once you have your credit rating and stuff in and, they process that out and you're given the money where you can purchase Bitcoin.
Yeah. And we're going to do a show with more detail. We're going to get some more detail this week, and we will actually probably have Jay Bose on the show, Dr. Jay,
yes,
who does the Thursday shows on here to explain it. But go ahead and call that number if you have questions, and they can send you some information. But yeah, Ben is tearing it up. He's in this huge RV, has a van behind him, but shout out to Crypto Fitz, Jimmy Fitz, because Ben has been out there meeting with him. And I think you're going to see a lot of collaboration coming with these 2 gentlemen. He's also been collaborating with Mighty Ice and some different influencers, Kim Bozak. It's going to be a lot of fun this year. In Las Vegas, the Bitcoin 2025 in Las Vegas, you got to come by the booth and watch the live stream. That's going to be amazing.
Yeah, it's going to be a carnival scene with us, guys. I will put it out. I'm going to lay it down right now. We will be the best and most fun booth in the space by far. We're not boring. We're lively. If you're down for a party, head over to our booth. You're going to have some fun.
It's going to be a lot of fun. All right, I'm going to jump back to Friday because here this week, okay, this is the most, phenomenal historical week, right? Bitcoin is in the U.S. Strategic Reserve. That's a massive announcement. Why is Bitcoin not, over 100 grand right now? There are a lot of questions about that. And then the next day that was that evening. And then Thursday was the crypto summit. And you had all of these movers and shakers there. Michael Saylor, Brian Armstrong, David Bailey was there. There were a whole lot of them. And I think a lot of the community expected more things to come out of the summit. I expected them to say no taxes on cryptos and Bitcoin. They didn't. They also said they're not planning to buy any. They're going to keep what they have, but they're not going to buy anymore. And they're going to get it without it costing the taxpayer. So I'm going to be interested to see how he does that. But the thing I want to speak to is no matter what they do with the summit, no matter what the president does with it, we would not be changing what we're doing in our strategy at all, because we've seen the white papers, we've studied this, we know it's scarce, and we know it's going to go up tremendously over time. We plan to live a lot longer than where we are right now. We were looking for another 50 years in life, right? So it's going to be phenomenal where it's going to be. So for anyone listening and watching and looking at this price, so it's 81,000, it hit 108,000 in December. But it's 81,000 right now. Gosh, I just want to have a closing so I could buy some more, right, Todd?
Oh, absolutely. And that's the thing, guys, is don't let the news, what we call FOMO you out, scare you out of the market, because that's exactly what they want to do. They would love nothing more than to sell your Bitcoin. And I don't care if it's a quarter of Bitcoin, half a Bitcoin, whole Bitcoin, or whatever. They will gobble up what you sell if you're willing to FOMO out of it. Don't let them do that, guys, because you're talking about possibility of generational wealth and for your kids, grandkids, and their grandkids. and giving everybody a life that they deserve through hard work, dedication, and living that lifestyle of stacking those sats.
Yeah. We're all trying to figure out, we're trying to figure out how to pay for things day to day, but we have to look ahead. I've never looked at Social Security as being retirement ever. And that's where when Todd and I got in this space, we were trying to figure out, I have to sell a house to make money. We've tried rental properties. We didn't enjoy them. I know you could have property management companies, but we just didn't like that process. It is not for everyone, even though I help clients with rental properties. Then we found Bitcoin, and it's exciting because it gives us some financial hope. It's decentralized. And even no matter what they do and what they say, it's open source, it's decentralized. So it gives us some autonomy in our finances that we've never had. And so it's an exciting time. The fact that now it's more mainstream, the banks eventually will have it. We're not treated so much. We were treated kind of like lepers early on, trying to find a place. Yeah. Right.
Well, it was insane, actually, guys. And I mean, even some of our new club owners who are trying to find properties right now are getting the same time. And I'm going to use the word harassment because it is harassment. It's like, we don't like it, and of course, nothing against bankers, because I do have some banker friends and everything, but they are really making it tough on people who have honest businesses wanting to do something and not allowing them to get loans or even make, start open bank account, not even get loans, but just get bank accounts open. They're not doing it. And to me, that's discriminatory practice in itself. And nothing about that's right. Because honestly, money's been used for mischievous things for generations. It really has. And now we're talking about fiat currency, paper money. So the fact that they're using that as an excuse because it's used for nefarious purposes, it falls on deaf ears as far as I'm concerned, because money, no matter what it is, can be used that way, and especially fiat currency.
Exactly. So think about this. I just read, I think 4% of people own Bitcoin worldwide. 4%. So if you're listening first time, and you found out the Bitcoin bin coffee cups are scarce, and this is the one thing everybody's going to want, you're going to want as many of them as you can get. You really want, it's still early. It is still early. And I think that's what people don't understand. And for anyone listening, you don't have to buy $81,000 worth of Bitcoin. You can buy $5. You can buy 10. You can buy 20. Join the club, and we can show you how to safely put it in a wallet, safely have self-custody, safely store it, because we're all looking for that way out of these long hour jobs. You want to have that nest egg growing. Now, we say don't sell your Bitcoin, and President Trump did say that on Friday, don't sell your Bitcoin. But there are people that will do a little bit of take a little bit of profit at times. And that's part of what helps get you out of debt. If you hold on to your Bitcoin long enough, and then you've got that, and you can clear some profit and it keep growing. But we recommend holding it. You've got generational wealth. And if you don't sell it, you can borrow against it. And that's really the best way. And there'll be more and more vehicles to borrow against it. Right now, Salt Lending is one. They have one. But what we have here with this loan program, if you were wanting some Bitcoin, I think the first 50,000, you don't have to have, I think your credit score, it needs to be maybe 640. Honestly, yeah. It's not outrageous. And for people below that, I think they're going to have other programs coming, right?
Yeah, they actually have it where the credit rating, I think, goes in the 550s, 560s. So Ben is really living that ethos as far as saying, I'm here for the little guy, because he's allowing that person who otherwise wouldn't have that opportunity because they can't borrow from the bank because you're just not credit worthy to us.
Yeah.
And under normal circumstances, that would be true. But Ben believes in everybody. And he wants everybody to have a chance to get that generational wealth where they can get out from this debt slave system that we're in.
And I think the first 50,000, you don't even have to make a payment on. I think it's a 2-year loan, and you can pay it at the end because Bitcoin is expected to go up so much. I mean, his contact in the White House, if I quoted him right, said Bitcoin's going to go up 60,000 a year on average. Is that right?
I thought he said 90%.
Hey, I'd take 50.
Well, yeah.
I'd take 25, but 60, 90, what kind of, that's amazing confidence.
Now, of course we don't have timelines as far as when that is, but I mean, there's a lot of people, and that's the thing I don't get too caught up in numbers just for the very fact that it gets everybody's hope up. And then when you have dips, everybody starts going crazy. It's like, why, you said this was going to be this at this amount of time and this, that, and the other. That's why we never here at the club, we don't ever talk about price because of that very reason, because it gets people's hopes up. Janet,
I always talk about price. You
do talk about price.
Ben doesn't look at the price.
No,
I'm a numbers person. You're saying that, I'm going, shoot, I talk about the price all the time.
Well, I know you talk about it. I mean, look, it excites people when they start thinking numbers and stuff, and then they start spending it. Like, where can I do this? Can I pay off my debt? Can I pay off my house? Can I buy that big yacht that I would like? Just random things like that. So, but it kind of, for me, it would be paying off debt more or less, and not buying any more trinkets that's wasting my Bitcoin. So, and I think anybody else that's in the space feels the same way. Most are going to hold on until they can't hold on, and then use it and stuff. But it's just, it's really funny when you think about it, when you run through scenarios and different things like that.
I can guarantee the people that cashed out, bought Lamborghinis a few years ago, are kicking themselves because they would have so much more money in the bank. And we say, don't look at the fiat amount, look at the Bitcoin amount. Stack sats. How much Bitcoin can you get? That's really what we look at. And don't tell anyone, if you're new to this, never tell anyone.
Rule number one.
How much. Don't tell people how much you have. Don't even put a sticker on your car. We love it. We're out here in the public, but you want to be smart with it. It's because people have walked in and said, how much is in your portfolio? Oh my gosh.
I said, well, how much is in your wallet?
That sounds like a commercial.
Capital One.
Yeah. It's just like asking how much is someone's bank account. So we don't talk about that, but I love our classes. Steve and Heidi and Sherpa teach these classes, Crypto Sherpa, and they're wonderful, and they've been in the space forever. And so we can talk about different altcoins, because as Bitcoin soars, and we feel like it will, as it soars, these altcoins are going to be stepping in, because you have these chains that are amazing that can do a lot of things technologically. Like the Cardano chain is incredible and has so many things built on the Cardano chain. Solana is moving ahead. Ethereum, there are a lot of things on these chains that you can't do unless you move to those spaces. Those are the things we teach, because when you came into the space, we didn't even know what the words meant. It was so confusing.
Yeah. And look, every day's a learning process. We're learning every day. And I still like I'm far behind, but I know that I'm farther ahead than most, just because everybody's still trying to get the concept. And, with institutional adoption and stuff, you're going to start to have more people get into this space and want to ask about it. And that's what the clubs are really about. That's what Bitcoin Ben started our clubs for, was to get the average everyday person off the street an idea of what this is, and how to self-custody it, how to be safe, because scams are prevalent right now, especially as this stuff comes online. So we really have to be careful and help people and guide them in the right direction and give them the right tools and what to and what not to use to self-custody in a safe manner.
Yeah. It is exciting. Like the class on Tuesday is going to be about exchanges and buy and sell walls. So when people put in buy orders, because they can do on the exchanges these orders, when it hits a certain amount, you can buy or sell. And so a lot of people get into the altcoin realm to have that quick turn on cash and things like that. And some of it, like meme coins, are kind of like gambling, I think, in a sense.
Oh, it's total. Yeah.
If you've got plenty, have fun at it. But we do educate on what the different coins are. We have one-on-one consultants that can help too. But back to, no matter what they do with the crypto summit and President Trump and people disappointed and the price going up and down, we're like, so we're still going to do the same things, because we know it's coming. We all need to shore up. It's the number one appreciating asset ever. And that's really exciting. So it doesn't shake our confidence in it, even this price right now. If it kept going down to 15,000, I would not sell it at all. I would try to sell a house and buy some more Bitcoin, right?
Absolutely. And that's the thing, guys. I would be shocked if it ever went down that low again. So if you missed out on that opportunity, just realize that we're still in the early stages of adoption. And even if we are in adoption, which we are to an extent, you're just not hearing a lot about it, because there's people that are, they're literally trying to manipulate the markets a little bit so they can get their heavy hitters, big whales, into it at a cheaper price because they missed out on it. And a lot of times it's because they're under different rules, and they were, especially if you're banks, because banks are late to the game on this, just because the settings and the rules were not in place for them to be able to purchase and get into it. So a lot of this is some prototypical market manipulation going on, and that's what's causing the price, I think, to fluctuate like it is, because I think you got some people that are selling a ton of it to manipulate that price down so they can bring their friends into the space.
Yeah. A lot of people, they feel like they've missed out. When the price starts going up, they start buying. And then it comes down and then they're, oh, shoot, and they sell. And that's that fear of missing out. That's not the right strategy. Learn what it is, fully understand it before you buy it. Do your research. Join the club if you want. Absolutely join the clubs. Not
Always.
Always join the clubs. But the books we talk about, do some education on self-education, and then you'll know, you'll have a plan. You'll understand why you're buying it and what you're going to do with it, rather than just doing this emotional buy real quick because somebody says to do it. Do your research and know what you're getting into, because then you have that full commitment, because once you really understand it, you really understand it. And here we are. You've quit your job to get in this space.
Well, I quit my job because my wife let me quit my job. That was the best part about it. She's like, now, the funny part about that whole situation is I don't know many guys whose wife would say, you're going to have to quit your job. And I had to do a double take because I was like, there is no way I heard what I heard. She's like, yeah, you're going to have to quit your job. And I'm like, I'm all in.
Well, I knew you hated your job. I would never go, honey, you have to quit your, but I knew you hated it. We were looking at something anyway. And oh my goodness, when you understand what Bitcoin is, you want to be in the space. And what Bitcoin Ben is doing is good grief. He's going to have a yacht club, a jet club, resorts, all-inclusive resorts, educational clubs. We're doing the loans right now. There's so much more coming.
We don't even have a clue.
Coffee farm. He has so many ideas. Every time we see him, there are new ones out on the table. So he's building this huge network in this space. He is proof of work, and he doesn't sleep. And it's really exciting to be a part of it and trying to figure out how to help and reach more people where they have an opportunity to be a part of this.
Yeah, totally. And that's the thing, guys. We're in this space because we believe in what Ben's doing, and we've seen it. We've known him for 3+ years now. And we've actually seen him produce everything he said he's going to do. And every idea and every concept, it's reality, and it's happening. And it's not just fluff. It's not just your prototypical so-called influencer out there doing podcasts all the time. He really is proof of work. So it's not a bunch of wordplay. It's stuff that's being put into play.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm looking at X right now, and there's a quote on here, and it's exactly what we're saying. Because Guy says, in my entire 8 years of being in Bitcoin, I don't think I've ever seen price action more disconnected from the news. This week was probably the most bullish week in Bitcoin history, and we're dumping. I know, it's crazy. You can't predict it. You cannot. You have to know what you're buying, be committed to it, understand it. It's going to be volatile. There's a 4-year cycle. We don't expect it to be the same 4-year cycle this year, because there's so many things happening this year that have never happened, like the strategic reserve, like regulations changing, like the banks coming on board, like other countries looking at putting Bitcoin in their reserves as well. And Utah, was it Utah? Utah, they are the first state, right, to put it in their pass a law
for the state reserve. Yeah, for their state reserves, they are the very first state to do it.
Woo-hoo!
Which Utah's a beautiful state. Was out there this summer and loved it. So would like to take you out there sometime and show you.
Oh, that's right. You went to Salt Lake City.
I went to Salt
with
Lake.
The Chamber of Commerce.
I did, and had a great time and picked up some very useful information and just really enjoyed it. Great place to go. I'd highly recommend visiting.
Well, congratulations to the entire state for being the first to have Bitcoin in your state strategic reserve. And I think there are another 20 or more with it in their Congress trying to get passed in these states. Tennessee needs to get on board because we're here right outside of Nashville, Tennessee. But yes, this is the most exciting time. And so with these prices, I'm excited because it's more of a chance to buy. When you see that, we call it buy the dip. So sitting here, let me go back to where it is. I'm looking at CoinGecko. It's 80,852. So it's gone up and down while we've been on here right now. There's something else that might be interesting for people to keep an eye on, because we watch like MicroStrategy stock. We watch NVIDIA stock, and the NVIDIA conference is coming up in about a week, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the CEO of Render is going to speak at it, right?
Yeah, he is. And I know Steve's big on that project and everything. It's AI related. And so, yeah, when you've got someone going to a conference and speaking, especially something like NVIDIA, and someone from another project's the lead speaker, that's huge news. So there's a lot of different projects out there, guys, that I think are going to be good for the future. So don't miss out on opportunities if you've got some, dry powder out there.
Yeah, I'm talking about right now is Render, which is on the Solana network, and it's $3 right now. I've seen it as high as 11, but I'm thinking it can go 50 or 100. We don't know. We're not financial advisors.
No.
So Todd is like, I like to play around with the altcoins a little bit, just small.
I'm more Bitcoin.
And he's all like, no, in Bitcoin.
Yeah, I'm more Bitcoin, but look, I see possibilities and everything. I just don't put too much into it, but that's just me.
Well, I like J.J. Abrams movies, and he's on the board with Render. So when you have these Hollywood moguls and you have, I don't like all the Hollywood people all the time, but you've got a lot of support behind this. And if he's the keynote speaker at NVIDIA, there's going to be stuff coming. So it's really exciting. And there's just a lot to study. Like there's so much going on in so many directions. There's not enough time to capture all of it. So like a lot of times when we started, someone said, hey, take the top 10 coins and invest in the top 10. And even if one hits, you're golden, kind of depending on that. So I think that's kind of some loose advice to look at those top coins if you're new in the space and trying to figure out what to get into. I will say who was missing on Friday. Wasn't Brad Garlinghouse missing on Friday?
Yeah, from XRP.
Ripple, that wasn't
from
there.
XRP. Yeah. So, which I'm fine because that's, it's
centralized.
It's centralized coin. Yeah, it's really called the banker's coin. And which would be to me a CBDC. Honestly, I think they're masking it as a CBDC personally.
Yeah, time will tell, won't it?
Yeah, time will tell.
We've had more people like push back against Bitcoin. And then the minute XRP hit the news, which when something hits all the news at once, to me, why? Like who's controlling? Because, the news is a lot of the news is controlled. And we started having moms call us and, all these people. What about XRP? I get texts all the time. What do you think about XRP? I'm like, I don't want any of it.
We get high net worth people. What about XRP? And I'm looking at them like, where have you been? I was like, they wouldn't talk to us for anything. And then all of a sudden they hear about XRP and it's the marketing. It's like they've got one of the best marketing arms there is. Bitcoin doesn't have necessarily a marketer. They've got, influencers, quote unquote influencers. But I mean, that's not really driving the cost per se. They don't have anybody out there just hammering it other than maybe Michael Saylor. But it's funny because every time we hear XRP, it's like, well, it's a bull market. And the marketing team for XRP is out there hammering it. And people that are high wealth individuals are coming to us asking about XRP. And it's like, what do you think about it? And of course, we say we don't. And they're like, they look at us like we're crazy. It's like, we don't.
Well, the thing is, it is centralized. And so one person can control, you've got that centralized control. And it's, what is XRP right now anyway? I don't follow. $2.14. So I don't know if it doubles or triples, but the thing is, to me, there's a lot of risk with that. I think they're looking for a get rich quick because they feel like they missed out on Bitcoin.
They are.
But if you're buying Bitcoin today, in 4 years, you're going to wish you bought it at this price today is our opinion. Again, not financial advisors, but that's literally how we feel is have that long range thinking, have that long range plan, because we're trying to figure out retirement and we're looking for that thing. Our money in the bank loses 15%. If not 30 every year in buying power. You buy less and less. So you work hard, you've got all your money, you put it in the bank and you lose value. Now people will put it in the stock market and we see that go up and down. And there's really risk, I think, with anything you do. You're just trying to look for that best choice. I like diversification, but we love Bitcoin.
Yeah, totally. And that's the thing. It's like, I'm not against gold or silver for that matter. And Janet and I were talking about this earlier. I would actually have no problem with the U.S. dollar if it's backed by sound money, commodities, if it's backed by gold, silver, Bitcoin, things like even oil. An actual commodity backing a U.S. dollar that's not Federal Reserve note. You've got to get the Federal Reserve. If you can do that, if you get the Federal Reserve out of it and you go back to an actual US dollar, because not everybody's going to be comfortable with a digital currency. And I understand that totally. So even though we like Bitcoin, you have to see both sides of the coin there. No pun intended. You have to see both sides of it and realize that not everybody's going to be comfortable. There's some people who want to hold a liquid asset in their hand, whether it's gold, silver, or a US dollar. Get the Federal Reserve. I don't want to see a note that says Federal Reserve ever again.
Well, we're just kind of stuck with those for a while.
Yeah.
We don't want to sell our Bitcoin. So, we're still going to spend the Federal Reserve notes. But I do appreciate that so much, because we really want sound money. We're here because we haven't had it. And now we feel like we have it, which is amazing. And that's why we're in this entire space, and why we stay up late, we get up early. We're here on a Sunday night to try to put our thoughts to what's going on with the price action right now.
Well, that's how passionate we are. We're here on off day. So we're here to sacrifice a little bit, do some proof of work, and live out the dream.
But it's not work. Like it's so much fun. I mean, it's really exciting. I wasn't on Twitter before this, because it was also censored, or X now, right? And we got on it and we started listening, and there are different spaces, like Gary Cardano does a space. We started listening to that, and it's just really neat to hear people in real time process what's going on and their thoughts on the country, and it's not censored. I love that it's not censored. We finally have these voices. It's wonderful.
Yeah, we should try an X space sometime and try that on and see what that looks like, because you get a lot of engagement that way. We might have to do that. Maybe off camera we'll talk about that sometime. See if you want to play with that some.
Well, maybe so. I really do love. In fact, the chat's open if anybody wants to throw a comment out there. We'll be on here for just a few more minutes. But it's you just want to encourage people, and look at it, read a book. We talk about it, but I talk about it a lot. But look at the Bitcoin standard. Look at the fiat standard. Look at the creature from Jekyll Island. The one that we want to see, there's the one with all the Satoshi notes, all the notes from when it all started happening. I mean, there's so much research to do. We have our white papers in the lobby here. It's all open source. And we even did a class on the white paper. So if you join the club, you'll have access to all of those archives, because there's just a lot of content in the space. You want to get it from a trusted source. And our educators have been in the space 12 years. They know the history. They know the players. It's fascinating. We learn from them all the time. And before we came on tonight, because Steve couldn't join us, he's also a musician. He's recording in Nashville right now. Yay. He said, tell them it's going to go up. It's really going to go up. And that's the thing, is when people look at this, if they get worried, don't sell it. Don't hold it. Try to get more. There's on the fold card, you can do round up. You can buy a little bit. And sometimes I'll just, we'll just buy $10 here, $20 there. And you just forget about it. Just like you would buy a coffee or go to Starbucks. Just stack it when you can stack it. Use the fold card, earn sats. That's the thing, is you're trying to figure out how to take your energy and how to reserve it and how to have that life in some balance, because we've been so out of balance for a long time.
We really have. And like she was saying, with that fold card, that's huge, because if you're not quite comfortable, purchasing your Bitcoin or anything like that, the best way to do it is get on that. And you can actually purchase Bitcoin from fold card as well. But you can also, while you're spending, as we said earlier, you're gaining Bitcoin. It's a true rewards card. I know you might be missing out on airline miles or whatever, that vacation, but you could, by the time you stack sats over a period of time, let's say you're paying a house note and it's $1,500, $2,500 a month. That's a lot of sats you're building up. That's actual Bitcoin you're building up. So we recommend the fold card for sure, and then get it into cold storage. And that's what we're here for, is to help people to understand that and get them adjusted to this space for the future.
Yeah. So Joe Knows Crypto has put up a couple of comments here, and I'm going to read these. He said, so I bought Bitcoin and used some leverage on the stock market, and now I'm sweating. And he said, so I have to sell some to cover so I don't get any liquidated. The bull market has been different, to say the least. And exactly, no one knows your exact situation, what you need to do. You've got to be able to pay your bills. Yeah. We're not financial advisors, but we would encourage you not to sell it when it's going down. If you're scared, if you don't need it, don't sell it. Hang on to it. Like it'll go back up. What is it? Last week it came down almost to 80 and shot up to 95.
Yeah.
So just right back up, God candle, right back up. And so that's the thing is if you don't have to just hang on, even if it goes down, like if you don't have to have what's in it, leave it there. Even if it goes down, we're not selling if it goes down. We're going to see if we can find some more fiat to get rid of those Federal Reserve notes and buy it. But Joe, hopefully your situation will get better there. And it is squeezing some people. And that's where like you need to be, we don't want people to be over leveraged. Like you don't want to be where you can't take care of your family, your bills, all of that type of thing. Just like with any savings, any asset vehicle like that, you've got to be able to take care of your day to day. And then when what you can save, whether it's 5, 10, but if you are really leveraging this market and it's a short squeeze and you can't manage that long, that might be too much risk. And so we would encourage you to talk to your financial advisor and kind of feel like what's the best way to handle that. And Joe says, hang on, I'm going to buy more, but so that's great. BTFX, which is a 2 times Bitcoin. So there's so much happening in the space, and I appreciate your comments there. But it's definitely been a different kind of bull market, and we want everybody okay. We want them to feel confident in this because we love it. We're here because we believe in it. That's why we're here.
Well, we totally do, and like Janet was saying, don't ever over leverage yourself. It's hard though when you see an opportunity. You're like you don't want to miss out, but it's not the easiest thing to do just enough and not put yourself into danger. It's easy because when you get that spot and you're like, man, I've got to get this while the getting's good. But sometimes it's best just a dollar cost average in for as little as possible, but just keep doing that. If you can keep doing that just a little bit at a time, you can go as little as $10 a day, a month, whatever. And that's the best way. And if you've got to pay your bills, you've got to pay your bills. You've got to have your house. You got to have a roof over your head. So just try not to get yourself into deep trouble. Yeah.
It's weird because it is the weirdest year, right? And I'm like, every day I'm like, what? Why is it up? Why is it down? Why is it doing this? Why didn't they do more in Washington? Why isn't President Trump doing this? It's this big mystery every day. But if you park all of that, we're still going to keep doing the same things we've been doing, regardless of what's going on in that whole political arena. I think a lot of it is for show. A lot of it is to affect the market. The whole goal is like, how much Bitcoin can you get, how fast, and hold on to it until, and watch that grow over the years. And that's because I don't want to be working 14-hour days in 20 years. I don't. I want to be enjoying the beach a little bit. I want to be on one of the Bitcoin Ben yachts in his yacht club, take Bitcoin Ben jet to the yacht club to go to their beach resort. Like, how much fun can you have later in life, right? Well, at this rate, no one, because everything's so expensive and taxes are high and prices are high and inflation is high. And we, as the everyday little person, have got to figure out how to beat that. We think Bitcoin is the way. Altcoins, as well, as you learn about those, Bitcoin is the #1 appreciating asset of all time. And that's why we're here.
Yeah, by far, that's exactly why we're here. We enjoy what we do. We like to help people. We had a good weekend. We had some people come in Saturday, and Nancy, who is a co-owner here at the club, we had such a great conversation, and people's eyes were like, had one guy who just about drove past us and basically came in on 2 wheels and said, I had to stop by a younger kid. I would say he was probably 18, 19, maybe 20 years old. He says, man, I got to tell my friends about this and stuff. He was getting ready to watch a basketball game or something like that. And he said, well, I'm not quite there, but my parents own a coffee shop just a few miles down the road, and I'm going to have to tell them about this. And so it was fun. You get those people that just all of a sudden, I've been going to Best Buy or gone so-and-so, and I saw you guys. So
was he at Best Buy? Because that's where they all come from.
Well, the first time he was at Best Buy, but he was doing something. I forgot where he said he was at this time, but it wasn't Best Buy this time. But he's driven by many times and seen us, we actually had a guy who pulled up in our driveway and sat there for a few minutes. And I saw him pull his camera out. He just sat there for a few minutes, took pictures and this, that, and the other. Went to our back, turned around, went back out. So it's just funny. You see that stuff all the time. I call it drive-by photos. You'll see them slow down and they're like, ch-ch-ch. So, I mean, it's funny. We're definitely making an impression in our community, which we're glad. So, if you're out there and you're one of those drive-bys, stop in, talk to us. We really don't bite hands or anything like that, I promise.
Yeah, we'll give you a tour of the club,
Yeah.
some fresh coffee, fresh ground organic coffee. Pretty soon it'll probably be Bitcoin Ben coffee.
Yeah.
Joe Knows Cryptos also said, I think Texas is also starting a reserve. All the news is good. Totally agree. And you're right, Joe. And I think all the markets are spooked right now. And they are. And they were looking for different information. We were all excited about this whole crypto summit, right? And it was like a deflate. It was like, what? I was waiting. I worked all day Friday, right? And I was looking at the news. I'm like, where's the news? Where's the exciting news out of it? Now? The exciting news was that it will be in the strategic reserve. It's just that President Trump's not going to buy anymore. They're going to try to do it where it doesn't cost taxpayers money. But he's so smart, like art of the deal, right? He's going to figure out a way to get it without having to spend all that money.
Well, the exciting part for me, and I realize it's easy to be doom and gloom, but you have to realize we actually had a crypto summit. Actually, something happened. Now, you might not have gotten the news that you wanted to get. It might not have had all the pomp and circumstance, but sometimes bland is good, and it doesn't necessarily mean something's not going to happen. So I'm kind of a glass half full type guy. Sometimes something's better than nothing. And I think we're such a instantaneous, I got to have it now type attitude. It's like someone on drugs. They got to have that hit. I think as a society, we've got to the point where if we don't get instant gratification, it's not good. And I think we need to tamper expectations and just plan on long-term stuff, not short-term gain, because usually short-term gain ends up being a loser every time.
Okay. I so love that and appreciate that. Thank you for saying that. I mean, you're right. Like, we had a crypto summit. This president could have had a summit on anything in the world. And there are so many things we need to have summits on, right? That need help. And he put crypto front and center. That's huge. Joe said, I agree with you, Joe. So much better than the last administration. Absolutely. And look, if we didn't have President Trump, we would still be doing what we're doing at the clubs. We would still be doing what we're doing to stack sats. We would still be educating people. We would not be changing our course, because our course, politicians come and go, all of that comes and goes, and regulations. But our course is this decentralized way to get out of this debt slave system, this fiat system that is burdening us all. Like Todd and I talk a lot about, like, it's just so nice to live in the 50s. You wouldn't have these. I mean, I love my phone, but I hate my phone. Love, hate. We would be on the porch with our tea or coffee and enjoy the sunset. The neighbors would come over, and you actually get to rest and just have relationships and time to spend with people. Instead, people work such long hours. Like, it's hard to get involved in local politics to make a change because people are so tired and they're having to work, some of them 2 jobs to pay their bills, trying to make ends meet. We need to lift the burden on the people. I do feel like President Trump is going to do that in office. I feel like he's trying to move mountains as quickly as possible.
Well, he really is. And that's the thing, when you look at all the executive orders and stuff he's put out, even before the first 100 days, it's miraculous. I've never seen a president get so much done in a short period of time. It's absolutely amazing. And I think sometimes the instant gratification as societies have is just, it's ridiculous, and it's unfounded, because we really need to think about that. It's like, we need to dial our expectations back. I want a lot of stuff too, but sometimes just because you want it doesn't mean you're going to get it. But sometimes it's all on a time frame, and it's not going to happen when you expect it to, but it could very well happen sooner than you think.
Yeah. Thank you. The unboxing channel said hit the like button. Yes, like and subscribe. Thank you for just, because we do this God, Freedom, and Bitcoin podcast. We don't have a regular time because I work real estate.
We're the most irregular podcast on the internet.
And we want to try to have a set time, but we work around. First of all,
Schedules.
we always want Ben on the air when he's on the air first. And Ben has quite a team, because now we have Bitcoin Ben TV, and he's got a show with Dr. J on Thursdays, which has been wonderful. He's got, and that's Jay Bose, and Clara Bose, his lovely wife, is doing a show, Women's Voices. We've got more and more people coming together, because eventually it's going to be a 24/7 TV channel. So we're not regular here. We just jump in when we have time. We have a few minutes. There's something going on in community or society want to talk about and encourage people as well. And here's another comment from Joe. Let's see, put it this way. If he does start buying through the Doge recovery funds, the price will shoot up. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there's just, honestly, he doesn't tell you what he's going to do, right? He's such a deal, like part of the deal. So he's never going to let you know
Chess.
what he's up to.
It's chess versus checkers.
Yeah.
The other side's playing checkers. He's playing 5D chess. And I mean, look, if you don't want to telegraph to your enemy what you're doing, and that's what I think that's probably what most people need to understand is you don't telegraph what your intentions are, because that gives them a chance to put up an offensive against you. And it's just smart play. I mean, that's smart business. That's why he's a good businessman, because he realizes, why am I going to tell these people what I'm going to do? I'm going to hit them when they least expect it. Because when you look at all the executive orders that he put out, all of that was purely to keep them on their toes where they can't figure out where he's coming from. Don't think those people's heads aren't exploding right now trying to figure out what he's doing and how to stop him. So they're already behind the 8 ball. They're behind several 8 balls, matter of fact, trying to figure out exactly how to stop him. And it's the fun part about it when you watch. It's fun watching a chicken with its head cut off, because they just dance around and you just don't know when they're going to fall over. But it's funny because he's really just playing them for fools.
Yeah. Y'all. I mean, what? He's not even been president. Well, January 20th. So what is it? March 9th. It's not even been 2 months.
I know. It's amazing.
And in that time, okay, my favorite thing, the U.S. debt clock. Doge has saved $182 billion. That's $1,600 per taxpayer. And I ran it last week when it was at $170 billion. And on that average, that's $1.4 trillion in a year's time. So imagine that. Like, it's actually someone that came in and they're not spending money. They're trying to save money. Like, thank you. Well, I mean, that's what we have to do when we don't have enough, is we have to budget. That's what they need to do.
Well, Congress needs to budget. And to me, the debt clock, that thing should stop. No more spending. And they're like, well, we got to fund this. You don't have to fund anything. You need to stop. And this Doge clock, it needs to go through the roof, because let me tell you, if we get that Doge clock above the national debt, we reverse that, take that money, pay off our debt, and never do it again. And matter of fact, I would recommend this immediately. All congressmen's pay gets cut to $50,000 a year. Period. And then go back to your jobs. Go back and get a real job. And, because most of them are lawyers, they'll milk you for the money. So it's not like they're hurting for money. They're not going to be making the billions they're making off these deals they're doing, but they can still make a living. So $50,000 a year, that's sufficient. And they're probably getting free housing too on top of that. So I see no reason why these guys should go in there having who is it? Jeffries? I think Hakeem Jeffries had negative $40,000 net worth, and now he's worth 30-something million. You tell me what's wrong with that, because I'm looking at most of these people and they look like they've got the IQ of a rock. So this guy I know probably does. So I'm like, you're kidding me. This dude should not be a millionaire.
It is unbelievable. You come in making what, 30,000, you got nothing to your name hardly. And then all of a sudden you've got 30 million in the bank. That all needs to be, first of all, investigated, every one of those and their family members, if those numbers are happening. And then also term limits. Again, we've heard about this, term limits. You don't need to be in there for 57 years. You don't need to be this career politician. Even with term limits, you could go back, people that have been in, and they could just be like a mentor, just like you have past presidents, past senators, where you do have someone to refer to and talk to, and you're not just floating out there and, without some guidance from someone that's been there. But there's a better way to do things. And it's time. We've got a couple more comments. Joe knows. Crypto says, Rachel Maddow says, sell, I'm buying. I'm like, I'm with you, Joe. And the unboxing channel, you've got, we should use the 5K the Doge team sends to all taxpayers and invest it in Bitcoin. Yeah. There's so many options, right? And here's the thing. How many billions have been sent to the Ukraine, right? And I've said this before on the show, and I'm going to say it again. We have what, 330 million Americans? Does anybody really know? Let's say 350 million. We have plenty of money to send $1 million to every citizen and still send billions overseas. Like, that's the thing, is they don't need our money. We need help. And this whole system needs to change. And that's where Bitcoin can empower the little guy. You can have something that you control. The bank can't take it from you. They can't bail in. They can't say, oh, you can't have your money today. Because I've talked to this story. I went to the bank to get $5,000 a year ago. It was April. They didn't have it. They didn't have $5,000. And then somebody came through the drive-through and made a deposit. And the manager said, "Oh, wait, I think somebody just put some money in the bank." I got my $5,000 because someone made a deposit. If that doesn't make you worry about who's holding your funds, you think I want them to hold my Bitcoin?
No.
When the banks start holding Bitcoin, are they going to keep it or are they going to loan it out? What are they going to do with the Bitcoin?
You know the answer.
I know. So guess what? Self-custody. Join these clubs. Call our number here, 562-526-0813 to join the club, or go to BitcoinBenCryptoClubNashville.com. We also have a number running across the bottom of the screen, 941-413-6920. If you want to join the club and be interested in a Bitcoin loan, tell them Nashville sent you, because you have to join the club to do the loan. So I think we have need to have a friendly competition.
We'd love to have you as our members. So please join.
Yeah, absolutely. Joe Knows Crypto says they'll water it down as much as they can. Yes, they will. So, we want people to be secure and safe. We want to teach them safety with Bitcoin, how to protect your coins and your investment. And there's just still a lot of people lying in the media. There are a lot of lies out there, but you can come in and talk to someone in person and know them and know this is not a bot. Oh, wait, the bots. Okay, we got to talk about this for a minute.
By all means, let's talk bots. Let's talk bots. They're everywhere, apparently.
Okay. So was it CZ that asked Elon Musk to stop with the bots on X? I didn't even know how powerful they were. The bots really affect price in ebbs and flows, especially in the altcoins. And they do comments and they have all these fake scams for coins. People, don't click on these links. Don't click on links in email. Don't click on links that people you don't know. And a lot of these things are scams that are bots, right?
Yeah, they really are. And that's the thing, guys. That's why we're here, because you can't trust. There's some good information on the internet, but it's getting to the point with AI, bots, and everything else that it's going to get tougher and tougher as we move forward in this ecosystem to trust what you're hearing. And I think that's what the benefit of the club is. All the clubs, matter of fact, we're putting these things all around the country. We've got a resorts in El Salvador, and we're going to have one in Australia too, from what I've heard from Ben. So we need to be vigilant about what we're watching, what we're looking at, and you need to get in front of people. Just get together, talk with your neighbors, talk with other people, have conversations, get to know one another better. Try to stay off your phone as much as possible because they're so toxic. If you're not engaging with people, you're not learning. And that's what these spaces are for, is to engage with people and get to know one another, get to know your neighbor. Let's take this thing back to the 1950s. Let's go get on a porch, get in your rocking chair, visit your neighbor.
Yeah.
And have some lemonade while you're at it.
Okay. Lemonade. Yeah.
Country time.
So there's this church here in Franklin called Church of the City, and they go online, y'all. This is amazing. This is Nashville, right? So it's like a massive concert. It's amazing. It's a great church. I mean, they're building a village to help people who age out of the foster system. So many good things, but they're having a digital fast right now. That's what made me think about that. And that's on their website, because these can be all consuming, and that one-on-one person, that relationship, like everything being AI, being bots, you really need to know that you've got that real person, that you're talking to someone. Some of these bots, one of them I read, they do these romance bots.
Yeah.
And what they do is they build trust, and they pull them in, and then they ask for money. They're in a financial problem. They ask for this or that. And that's just horrible. They play on people that are lonely, and these are bots and bot farms. I'm like, oh, it's messed up. It's so messed up. So back to people we have at our clubs, it is community. We do social get-togethers. We have our classes that are on Zoom. One day it'll be too big. Right now they're on Zoom. So people can ask questions. They can watch it live. They can watch it later, which is really great. And Joe Knows Crypto says, "I'm not a bot. Beep, beep. I repeat, I am not a bot." We're so glad.
No bots allowed.
It's charming not to be a bot. But yeah, I mean, these things need to change. I get so sick. Like, that's why we need to get Nostr. I need to get on Nostr, because Nostr is social media that's decentralized, and you don't have all the feeds. Like, when I go on Facebook, I want to check on the people I care about, right? There's a lot of people on there. And it's just feed after feed of Okay, I love English Bulldogs. So I get English Bulldog videos.
You're hooked.
Yeah, and I watch the cake making videos, and I watch, like, I love art, so I watch painting. And so I don't know what your videos are, but that's what my feed's full of. And it takes my mind off of what I'm doing, and then I'll lose 20 minutes. We got to get back to being more focused a little bit.
Well, that's why you don't do TikTok, which that's run by the Chinese government anyway. So why would you? And I know you got addicted to it for a Christmas, and you're like, I have to get off this. I'm losing production with it, which that's why they do it. They get you hooked. It's like they put you in a trance watching this stuff. And it's easy to, because it's distraction. We all want some distraction in our life, because over the past 4 to 5 years, we've really had a rough go of it here in our country and around the world. So everybody's looking for that piece out, that time where they can distract with bulldogs or whatever it is you're interested in. And so I understand it. I totally get it. We're all looking for that peace and stuff, but sometimes peace isn't just the sanctity of nature itself. Just getting out, catching some sun, walking on grass, whatever. Going to the ocean, which I'd love to see that sometime soon. I know this one across from me would love that.
I need to see the water.
I know.
We're landlocked here. I mean, we have lakes, but I need to see the ocean. Yeah. I love the ocean. But yeah, I had TikTok on my phone for 3 days. I got nothing done. It was so much fun, but I was so behind. I took it off my phone. But now they rolled it into Instagram and Facebook, so I can't escape TikTok. And while people like make their business on it, like I have stuff to do and I got to stay focused. And so it's really hard when that hits. I like the idea of a digital fast, except we live on these phones.
We do.
I mean, I'm one of those, I check the numbers all the time. I check the Bitcoin price every time I'm like on my phone. I'm like, what's it doing? What's it doing? Because it is our business. And I'm interested in it. And then I want to know what's going on in the society that's changing the price. I'm like, why is it up and down?
Well, for me, when I got into this space, I took myself off Facebook and all my social medias after the 2020 election. I was so frustrated. I said, I was mad. I was livid. And I was like, you know what? I'm done. I'm done supporting these things. So lo and behold, we go to a Bitcoin Ben crypto conference in Texas. We meet Ben and I start talking to him. And he said, do you have social media? I said, no, I got off at 2020 because I was so mad about the election and everything else. And I realized everything is rigged. And he said, you're going to have to get back on it. I said, why, Ben? He said, well, if you're going to get in this business, you're going to have to be on social media and stuff. And I was like, crap. I mean, I had literally weaned myself off this. I went through my DTs, my shakes and stuff because I wasn't seeing all my, social feeds and all this other stuff. And then all of a sudden I'm back on it, hooked even more. So, but I'm on it for the good and right reasons. And it's building a bigger ecosystem. And I'm looking forward to what we're going to be doing over the next, 12, 18 months or so. It's going to be huge, I think, for everyone.
Yeah, it's coming. Yeah, Joe Knows Crypto says, yeah, if he's on TikTok, Rick Rock, as he calls it, hours will go by and he's in a bad mood. And we have
understandable.
We have a shout out from Snakes and Motorcycles. Hey guys. And Joe also says when he goes in the chat rooms, people are cray cray, which they are cray cray. Yeah, I agree with this on the unboxing channel. Social media is a cesspool. We got rid of most of it. There are people I absolutely love on there, but I can't even get to their page. Now you have to really do like a story or a reel to even get seen.
Yep.
So, and it's just all of that takes time. And then so it takes a lot of time. And then, go into a liberal chat room. Oh my. So I'm one of those that I'm here for the comments. So when I see these crazy things, I'm going to do a tangent, but if anybody's listening, if you've ever done Zillow, gone like on Instagram,
oh my gosh, that's fun.
Zillow Gone Wild, you want to see some wild, funny houses. That's kind of like, I go to Zillow Gone Wild, but then I go to the comments because you'll have this normal house in some crazy room. I'm not going to say what the other one had.
Oh, please do. That was funny.
It had a sex swing in it. Oh my gosh. And we're on Godfrey and Bitcoin. I just said that. I'm tired.
Well, that's the kind of stupid stuff you see on social media and everything, guys. I mean, look.
Oh my gosh.
I'm not shocked. I was like, you got to be kidding. I cannot believe a realtor would actually, I know this realtor would never put that up. She'd say, you got to take that thing down if we're going to sell this house. But the fact that someone would actually put that up, it's just like mind blowing.
The comments were priceless. They were like, my realtor made me take every photo down. And this person leaves this up. And I'm like, yep. I go through, I'm like, take that down, take that down, take that down. We're doing this. And then we go in houses or you see Zillow Gone Wild and we're like, well, why did I even bother? It's crazy. It's crazy. The unboxing channel says if you get hooked with their algorithms, you spend countless hours. And he's right. It's
Yep.
like a drug. And they know that. And the dopamine hits just never stop. And that's where like the digital fast idea is great. And we're just really, it also keeps us from being productive. And it keeps our mind muddy.
Yeah.
Like it's hard to sleep when you're on these social medias and you're keyed up. It's
Blue
hard.
light.
It's the blue light. So, okay. So this is funny. So there are filters you can do on your phone to take out the blue light. And I did that. I've been doing that for about 3 weeks. It's been great. Well, I was taking pictures of a property the other day with my phone. It's one of those private off-market sales. And I'm like, why are all these pictures kind of orangey yellow? And then I realized I had the blue light filter.
Your filter.
I had the blue light
The
filter.
funny part is it doesn't necessarily affect the picture, but when you're looking at it, it looks like this is terrible. I wasted my time.
Yeah. Guys, there are just so many things that are unhealthy right now. And like we're here for financial health about Bitcoin, but we're here too, like digital health, like that blue light does, like it's hard to sleep. So look for the filters on your phone or get the glasses. There are glasses you can buy. Honestly, there's some cute little orange heart glasses on Amazon. We wear them when we have our I Love Bitcoin days. Those are a nice little filter. Anything to filter out the blue, and you don't want to be off those devices late at night. But I'm like a news addict, and I'm a research addict, so I'm constantly wanting to look at stuff on my phone. So I have to find some balance in that. But we're also here for food health. Like we have several club members on the carnivore diet. We love working with the Beef Initiative out of Texas. And Ben's been on the carnivore diet. Gosh, he's lost so much weight and he feels better than he has ever felt. You and I, Todd, need to go back on it.
We're on the sometime diet. Sometimes we're on, sometimes we're off. And it's sometimes carnivore, sometimes it's muffin mix for me and chocolate for Janet. And we like to have a good old-fashioned rock and roll good time with food.
Oh my gosh. Well, when your life seems out of control, a lot of people turn to food to satisfy it. It has that sugar's addictive. And when you feel like you can't control anything else, you can control what you're eating. And that's where a lot of people have those issues. And so if we can bring people's life into balance financially with Bitcoin, you start stacking it and you start seeing life. If you start stacking Bitcoin over time, easy for you to say. Right?
You know, it's getting late in the day for us, especially for this old man. I'm going to have to rest my eyes here in a second.
Oh my gosh. Life gets cheaper on the Bitcoin standard. When you start stacking sats and you forget about that, don't think about that. Don't look at it, put it in your wallet. Just every time you get paid, and then watch it over time. I heard it was a commercial investor. This was a couple of years ago. And he had all these people he would advise. He was a financial guy too. And he said, look, just put 5% in your portfolio of Bitcoin. And he said, pretty soon that Bitcoin will become 8% of the portfolio and 10%. And it'll actually outpace everything in that portfolio over time. We're not financial advisors, but I believe he's right that percentage of Bitcoin will become the biggest because it is the number one appreciating asset. And so we want people to be comfortable with it. And like Todd said, they may not all be. But if we can do anything to help them understand it, how to buy it, how to store it, again, we've got a number across the bottom of the screen. If you want to do a loan and join the club, do a non-KYC loan for Bitcoin. There are a lot of different ways. Get the Fold card. When we post this later, we'll have all the links in it for the Fold card for buying directly from Caleb and Brown. And but it's a really exciting time. I think we're going to wrap up because I can starting to slur my words. But Todd, is there anything else you want to share?
Yeah, get off zero. Simply get off zero. If that means dollar cost averaging for $10 a week or $10 a month. Get off zero, get you some Bitcoin and live your life and see what it does over the next several years. And if you're doing $10 a month, you know, that's affordable. That's not going to break your piggy bank, but it could increase your piggy bank. So I'm happy to be here. We're happy to be here at the clubs. We have so many great owners out there that are just excited about being in this space and helping one another and helping each person in their community to grow it. And see what we can do over the next several years. Look, we got President Trump for 4 years, you know, Lord willing, and we're still around, that we're going to be able to grow this thing to something we can't even imagine.
Yeah. And the number of people we'll be able to touch doing this. Jonos Cryptos, thank you. He said, you're doing good work and God bless you. Thank you. God
Thanks,
bless you
Joe.
too.
Appreciate that, buddy.
And also says everyone should own some. Yeah. Absolutely. So we're here at the Bitcoin Ben Crypto Club Nashville. Our website is bitcoinbencryptoclubnashville.com. You can call us at 562-526-0813. We're here Tuesday to Saturday. And like, subscribe, and share. And address is 1619 Galleria Boulevard here in Brentwood, Tennessee. Anything else?
Yeah, guys, we're here to help. We're here to grow this thing. We want to be, each of you play an important part in your communities, more than you can ever imagine. And it's about getting involved, being in front of people, encouragement. We have to encourage people because it's easy. Everybody's in such a, I hate to use the terminology, but I'm going to use it, Debbie Downer attitude, that we need to do something to change the narrative. There's hope. There is always hope. And as long as there's God in heaven, which there is, there's hope. And we need to realize that and help one another. We're going through some trying times, but it's going to get better.
Yeah. I think that's the best way to wrap up. Thank you. Thank y'all for joining us.
Guys, thanks so much. Y'all have a great night.
This is God Freedom and Bitcoin. God Freedom and Bitcoin here from Brentwood, Tennessee with Todd and Janet Gatewood. Thank you, everyone. Have a great Sunday evening.
Later, guys.